Okay, hopefully that's better. I don't know why, but I look like I feel like I'm in some cheap sort of Italian spaghetti movie, cowboy movie, where my lips are moving faster than what I'm actually saying. Right, so Rachel's here. Let's just send her a request. Rachel. There we go. Hopefully you should see that. For her to join us. This is she's just picking it up. I can see that. So yeah, hello.
Hiya.
How you doing? You all right?
Yeah, not too bad. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Let me switch you up. Great. Okay, so can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Fantastic. Right, so everyone, this is Rachel. This is a new feature I've just brought out, which is surprise guest. So you're not going to know who's going to be on the Tuesday until early in the morning. And Rachel was the first person to agree to do it, so that's fantastic. And she's also the first UK lady painter that I've had on the show. So that's a big bonus as well. Right, Rachel, I don't know very much about you. I've literally sort of just been following you the last couple of months, probably
Yeah.
not even that
Sorry,
background
I'm
about
hearing
yourself.
it here.
You there?
I'm sorry.
That's okay, no problem. Just got a little signal. Oh, there we go. Are we back?
Yeah, we're back.
All right. Did you hear the question?
No, I didn't. Sorry.
Don't worry. All right. So I was just saying that I've literally, I don't know much about you. You've sort of come onto my radar in the last couple of months. So
Yeah.
really new to me, and you're doing really well, and we'll come over to that shortly. But if you could let us all know a little bit about you, your background, and you've not got many years in the trade, but how you've got to where
No,
you are
yeah.
today.
Well, basically, whenever I was 17, I crashed my dad's car about 2 weeks after I passed my driving test, and I really wanted to be a mechanic, but like nowhere would take me on because I didn't have experience and I wasn't in a course or nothing. So with the guys that fixed my car, I said to them, like, would you mind if I even just came in and brushed the floors or something just to get some sort of workshop experience? And thankfully they were happy enough to bring me on. And on my first day, they had me painting tractor wheels with a suction fed spray gun. And there's a video of it somewhere on Facebook, and I'm literally holding the bottom of the suction fed as if it was gonna fall off. It's ridiculous. But since that, I've been in and out of a few body shops. I served my time in Charleshurst, which is like a big body shop, production sort of. And then I ended up in going out to sort of do like self-employed, and I've been contracted out to a couple of businesses since. So I've been to Elite Refinish, and I'm now in Silverado Fix at the minute. So that's really it.
So you don't work for one particular company. You move around to whoever needs a painter. Is that?
Well, I'm at full time at Sitters, but I'm self-employed, so I'm technically contracted.
Right. I didn't even realize that was something that happened.
It's because I was doing like custom bits and stuff at home and shoes, and I didn't want to be not a business as such. So I thought it would be easier if I was self-employed and I could go through that way.
Oh, right, and then do the hours that you wanted to do, and then
Yeah.
and oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Now I was going to talk about it later, but you've just brought it up now. Your custom shoes. Tell us a little bit
Yeah.
about that. If anybody's seen Rachel's page, she does well. You explain them because they are pretty phenomenal. Some of them.
Well, I did the Thatch and Paint Apprentice Awards in 2017, and I got top 4 in the UK. So they invited me over to the Body Shop Awards in 2017, and I just thought it would be really funny if I painted a pair of shoes like for the awards. And I remember asking my boss at the time, I was like, "Do you mind if I bring in a pair of shoes and paint them?" And his face like was just like, "Are you actually joking?" But I did it, and then like everyone kept saying to me like, "Oh, that's such a good idea, you should do that." So I looked into it, and I spent ages and ages and ages trying to find the right paint,
Yeah.
because the ones, I think they're up here somewhere, but the ones that I painted originally, because they were just car paint, they just cracked and flaked. But now, after after a while of testing, we've finally got something that works.
So what did you put?
So
What were they? Did you paint it onto leather or what
patent,
was it?
so it's like a
Patent.
plastic. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And
It seems to be you can paint over anything, but it's just because it's smooth and it's the easiest way to get a finish onto it.
yeah, it
Yeah.
looked really good, especially that one that you've got. You've done some airbrushing on the side of it all the way right round. That look, it's a
Yeah,
sort of
that
a
was
blacky
Hydro
grey
so
one.
it was.
Oh, was that
Yeah,
Hydro?
that was Hydro.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
so whenever I was in the like refinish, he did hydrographics, and there was one day I was like, oh, do you reckon we could do a pair of shoes? And we found like just a scrap piece of film and did them, and they turned out really well. But again, at the time I painted them in car paint, and it flaked.
Yeah,
But
not flexible enough, I guess.
no, even with flexible additive into it, it's not enough. I ended up having to go down like a 1K water-based system is the only way to go. So
So how did you seal it then?
um now I'm using there's a specific paint that's made just for shoes. So there's a company called Liquid Kicks, and that's what they do is they supply paint for painting shoes, and they're brilliant.
So how many have you done?
Pass.
Oh,
I
so
don't
that
know.
many.
Most of them are for myself, to be honest, and mess about. Even like a couple of mum and dad's friends have
Right.
have bought a couple of pairs off me, but that's about it at the minute. It is
I
something
did.
I'm looking to get into.
Yeah, well, it's certainly different. I mean, I did there was a customer that I worked for. I used to do all their fleet cars, and she had to go to a wedding, and she didn't like the color of the sole on the
Yeah,
color of the heel,
yeah,
but she wanted it the same color as the rest of the shoe, and so that's
yeah.
probably as close as I've got to painting a shoe as you've done. I've just lost you. We've just lost Rachel a minute there. Northern Ireland. I can speak to Hawaii. We don't have any issues. Speak to Northern Ireland, and we we lose Rachel. So let's just bear with that. Oh, she's back.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah. I was just saying, we talked to Hawaii last week, no issues. Speak to Northern Ireland, and
Yeah,
keep dropping off. So,
because of Brexit.
yeah, exactly. Brexit and COVID. Let's just blame it on both of
Oh,
those.
ridiculous.
So, what about your average day? Where does that sort of take you then?
Well, I am a creature of habit. I start every single day with a latte with 2 sugars in it. And I just can't do the day. There's no point in speaking to me before I've had my coffee. But and the boys in my workshop know that. But I come in about half an hour early, and I set myself up for the day. So I would
Half an hour
get
late or half an hour early?
early. Sorry.
All right, sorry.
Sorry, I probably said late. But I would come in half an hour early and get myself ready for the day, because then there's nobody about to interrupt you in the middle of doing stuff.
Yeah.
And then just whatever's thrown at me. Sometimes it's planned, and sometimes you get the odd job that comes in and they're like, this needs to go out as soon as possible, and you just need to work with it. But in general, we're pretty structured. We know what we're doing from day to day, so it's not too bad.
And what was your day today? What did you have in today?
Today I had an Audi A5 front bumper in LY9B, so it was fine. And then I had a Mark III RS Focus, and a nitrous blue. I thought it was going to be a 3-stage, but thankfully it was a standard metallic. And then finished the day with it was a real old Audi A6, I think it was. And it had been painted I don't know how many times before, and I was trying to blend over it, and I was like, this is the worst. But it came out pretty well.
So you don't do any of the prep work or anything like that? You just literally go in and do the refinish?
Unless we're quiet. If we're quiet, then I would do pretty much everything. But at the minute, we're busy enough to keep a metal worker, a prepper, and a polisher busy. So then I literally just tape up and paint.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I love it.
It's like the fighter jet.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about 3-stage? Do you like to do 3-stage, or do you?
I don't mind it. I think I think it's fun, like as in like learning how to do it, but it's not fun whenever it goes wrong at all.
No, yeah,
No.
it can be a real ball at getting the colour right.
Yeah.
What scheme are you on then? Because I see, congratulations, you've just become, and correct me if I'm wrong, but an ambassador for Silco.
Yeah.
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 So we'll come on to that in a moment. But so at your workshop that you're working at now, what paint scheme are you working on?
We have a general scheme and a Cyrox scheme.
I've heard quite a bit about that Sarah scheme. What do you think about it?
Yeah, it's pretty good. You know, most things cover in 2 coats, and you know the colours are usually pretty good. The spectrometer's all right as well. There's a couple, don't get me wrong, there's the odd colour that it doesn't pick up that well, but as a general scheme, I think it's brilliant.
I don't think there's one scheme out there that you can say is 100% that you're gonna, you know,
No,
it doesn't matter what sort of money you spend, you're always
no.
gonna have a couple of niggles about it, aren't you?
Yeah, 100%,
Yeah,
100%.
there you go. Someone's just said there he liked the Xerox water-based scheme.
Yeah,
I did contact Xerox probably about, I think it was when they sort of first started to come out in the UK, so, or I first started hearing about them, probably about 2 years ago, something like that, maybe a year and a half ago. Um, and I just sort of got moved from pillar to post, and in the end, I kind of, if I ring
yeah,
somebody and they say, well, you
yeah,
need to speak to this department, so then you then get transferred to that department, and they say, well, get someone to call you back, and nobody ever calls you back,
yeah.
then
It puts
I
you
sort
off
of
it,
lose it.
doesn't
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Because
it?
that's just
Yeah,
not great
yeah.
customer service. But it's good to hear that you're getting on with it. That's a good thing.
Yeah, no, I really like it. We would go through, instead of dealing with Exalta and Cyrox, you know, specifically, I would go through Coach Finish, and they usually get back to you within the same day if there's an issue with anything.
So
So
Coach Finish, they're like your body shop supplier or a jobber in the States.
yeah, yeah,
All right, okay.
they would be our main one.
They're a big company.
For over here, yeah,
Yeah.
they're probably the biggest in Northern Ireland.
Okay. And so back to the Silco then. How did that all come about?
I've been using Silco products for ugh, whenever I very very first started. That's what we were using, but it was like whenever it kind of just started to come out over here. And then whenever I was in Charleshurst, we were on Nexa, the autocolor. We used all the primers and lacquers and stuff for it, so I wasn't using it for the 2 years it was there. But whenever I left, everywhere else that I've worked has used Silco, and I use it all day, every day, and you know, because I'm posting about it all the time, and I am using it 24/7. Then you know, it kind of just seemed to be the next logical step.
So
Um,
that's the X10, isn't it? Is that right?
there's an X10 and X13, and then there's the X12, which is the Supreme, which would be, I did the respray of the GT86.
Right.
That was in the X12.
And what's the difference? Because I don't know a lot about that. I did get sent some Selco probably about 3 years ago. More sort of like the smart. I can't even remember the name of it, and it was a really good product. I made a video on it. It was a good product. I found it was a little too thin for the way I worked, and it took a little bit longer to dry for me. But the gloss was good on it. So what's the difference between the X10, X12, and X13 then?
Well, the X10 is more, so like whenever we're painting stuff in work, it doesn't get fitted up and polished the exact same day. So it'll maybe sit for a couple of days, and X10 is perfect for that. You know, it'll stay open enough that you can polish it up for a couple of days, you know, to allow you to build it and do whatever. The X13 I would use for like quick jobs, because there's only it's a 10-minute bake.
Right.
And it would we would use it for bumper blow-ins and you know, stuff that needs to go out the same day that you don't want to be waiting for the extra day for. And the X12 would be like your respray lacquer.
Right.
You know,
Okay.
it's nice and slow. Like I paint, that was my partner's car, and I painted it in over the 12th holidays in July, and I polished it 2 months later, and it polished up lovely.
So
You know, I kept it the time.
the X13, is that an air dryer as well, or is that?
Yeah, you can air dry. I found it air dries in a couple of hours. They do have an air dry lacquer, which is the 9600 SFR, I think.
I think that's the
And
one
it's
I
one
got
hour.
sent.
It's 1 hour air dry.
Yeah. That's the one I got sent. For me, uh, it just was a little bit too slow compared to the products that I'd already been using. But,
Yeah.
a great product nevertheless.
Yeah.
So
I
what?
think I think they changed it. They changed it a year or so ago.
Ah,
So you might have got the old one. I never used the old one, so I can't compare it. But the new one, I would put it more as it's quite a thick lacquer.
right. Okay.
And if you don't, you wouldn't be wanting to leave it overnight to polish it or nothing. You want to polish it as soon as it's dry, and it's
Right.
brilliant for quick in and out jobs.
And that's what is that? 2 to 1?
It's
Can you
1 to 1.
remember? One? Oh, 1 to 1. Right. Okay.
The SFR is 1 to 1, and the X13, X10, and X12 are all 2 to 1, but there's 3 to 1 mixed for it as well with different hardener.
Right. And
Yeah.
Specky Painter there just says the X13, is that a medium solid?
Pass. I don't know.
No. Do you know what?
Don't
I
think
sometimes
so.
think, yeah, sometimes Specky, with some of these products, we sort of get hung up on the medium and high solids, and the formulations in them don't necessarily work that way. I'm struggling to explain this a bit. I'll have to come back to you guys on this, because it was explained to me by the rep from Octrol, because I'm on Octrol,
Yeah.
and because I had somebody ask me whether what the product I was using was a high solid, and he said, well, it's not. It's I don't know. I'm going to get in a muddle if I try and say this. So I'm going to clarify it exactly, and then we'll come back back to that, because it's so confusing nowadays. I think the old days of sort of high solid, medium solid, it's not quite the same. Yeah,
Oh,
refurb by
there's Johnny correcting me.
uh, oh yeah, they're all ultra high solids. Okay, there you go.
Yes. The
So at least,
X13 would be quite thin, which would remind you of a medium solid, but I didn't think it was. But yeah, they must all be ultra high solids.
and so what else what else all right, so we saw you the other day, and I think it was on LinkedIn. I can't remember, was it LinkedIn or Facebook? And we commented that because you didn't have the suit, did you, the Silco suit, and we were all saying,
Yes,
oh, you need to have
I
a
know,
Silco paint suit with the paint by Rachel
I
on the
know,
back
I
there.
know. Yeah, no,
Hope
it's definitely a good idea. I'm sure I have 3 Silco suits in work. I just don't use them non-stop because the amount that I'm painting at the minute, you end up, they only last you a couple of months. Whereas, I do try to keep them for whenever I'm doing videos, but clearly I forgot for a while. But
yeah,
I've just been using the disposable ones I threw out after a week.
yeah. I find that I go and put a new suit on, and that happens to be the day that I'll either be shaking the paint and it'll just
Yep,
explode
yep.
everywhere, or
That's
I'll
how it
drop
works,
it,
isn't it?
and it's just like, I got it, my brand new suit is all messed up. I've actually got a Colad suit in the workshop, and it's still in the box, and even though my other ones are pretty minging and hanging, I just don't want to bring that one out, because I know as soon as I bring it out, it's just going to get trashed.
Yeah, it's the same whenever every time I change the papers in the paint store and everything's sitting really nice and everything's really clean is the time you drop the tin of lacquer or you forget to put the PPS liner in the PPS cup. Yeah, I've done that a couple of times.
I've done that as well once. I don't know. I can't remember which system it was. It was the system that I wasn't used to, and so I had the sort of hard cup around there, and then you
Yeah,
put the liner inside, and I don't know what it was. So I pour in the clear coat like this, and it's just, then I look down and it's just
yeah.
everywhere, all over the
I
scales. It's like,
I did that with the PPS too about a month ago probably. I was looking at it and I was going, why is this not like going up on the scale? And then I looked and I was like, oh wait, I'm just kind of throwing it everywhere.
we do it, don't we? It's just yeah, it's such a simple thing, but we all make our mistakes. I saw Izzy actually just commented there, and yeah, I do remember. So she had got lacquer all over her suit, and she actually cleaned up her workshop today. Did you see that? She put
Yeah,
up
I did.
some new paper and makes. I wonder, that's probably not going to last so long.
No,
And a
it's
little,
gonna be like more.
yeah, she's got that little wall separating the paint as well. Um, so back to my core questions here that I sent over to you. We'll sidetrack again, no doubt. What are your two favorite things about your job?
Um, I know I had time to think about this, but there's nothing I don't like about my job really. I love the only thing I don't like about my job is whenever it goes wrong, obviously. But in general, like I love whenever you can tell something's going to be a really tricky color and you spend ages and ages and then you get it right, and you've just finished painting it and you're just going, thank God that's done near enough, and you're almost like proud of yourself that you've done it. And probably my favorite thing would be like resprays, and like I love whenever you have full control over something like color changes, and I love custom work and restoration, but we don't get to do much of it because it's just there's no market for it over here, really.
It's really big in the States, isn't it?
Yeah. I think it's a population thing, really, isn't it?
Well, and maybe because they seem to just have these bigger old cars that they, I don't see them in the UK like out there. And when I was speaking to Hillary last week, and then she's sort of taking us around the shop, and
Yeah.
and she just mentions all of these different cars, and I actually had no clue what the models are, but I look at that shop of hers and I think, wow, that looks really smart to be working on some of those cars.
Yeah, no, I agree, definitely. We don't
Rather
really get
than
anything like that.
Vauxhall Corsa,
Yeah,
Amiga.
and I and I load E4.
Yeah, other cars are available.
Yeah.
Um, oh, well, my next question was actually about your shoes, but we covered that one already, so we don't need to do that. Um, so, being primarily a painter,
Yeah.
What's your favorite guns?
I water, without a
Right.
doubt. I
Yeah,
love. I have
you didn't even hesitate.
no. I have an LS and a WS, and I just bought a WS Sean Lassie, and I love them.
Is that
Since
the red one?
yes, yeah. I started off with Developers. I bought 3 GTI Pro Lights whenever I first joined the trade, and then I did a cover photo competition, and I think it was on God Behind the Gun. I can't remember exactly, but I won it, and I got a day's training at Iwata, and I'd never heard of Iwata before in my life, and I literally got told like a week before. They were like, "Can you get yourself over to England for a training day?" And I was like, "I'll try." And since that, as soon as I tried it, I was like, "This is so much easier." It felt so much more comfortable in your hand and everything. And I literally haven't gone back since. The only
So
time I use my GTI is for wet and wet or 2K sometimes.
yeah, I mean the GTI is a good solid gun. If you're
Yeah,
starting out in the
100%.
business, it is a great gun to start off with. So let's
Yeah.
just take a couple of steps back there. So cover competition. What is that?
Like on Facebook, it was one of them. I put up a photo. I did an MX-5 kit, and it was a 250 GTO Ferrari. Don't even ask. I don't know. I was just told to paint it, and I did. But I put up a photo of it finished, and I think whoever got the most likes won it, and that's what it was, and that's what got me over there. So it was obviously
That's
sort of meant to be.
that's brilliant. So you won a cover competition.
Yeah.
Um, what else? There was another competition that you won 4 years ago. What was that one?
That was the Thatcham. I went over to
Thatchams.
Thatcham for the Paint Apprentice Awards.
Yeah. So how did you get involved in that?
Through tech, through my college. The college would go through World Skills quite a bit. And like quite a lot, like Johnny Lloyd.
Yeah.
He's from the same tech, and he did it. That's what I was aiming for, but I ended up going for the Thatcham and instead of Skill Auto, and then I thought I could do it the year after, but it turned out that I was too old, so I didn't get much further than that in World Skills. But I was happy to do the Thatcham. It was good.
That must have been, so you've done quite a lot in a short period of time, haven't you, really?
Yeah, I'm 5 years in the trade. The 24th of March.
Amazing. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
I just can, if you've done this already, where are you going to be in another 5 years?
Hopefully
In fact,
retire.
where would you? You better start painting some more shoes then.
That's it.
Um, I had some Iwata WS 400s in my workshop about 4 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. They were really good guns. I did like them. I found them a little bit slow for the way that I painted. Um,
Yeah.
Do you find that, or do you?
I am a slow painter. I know I am. I would probably be a wee bit further back from the panel than most people, and I like to watch the paint go on because for a while, whenever I was serving my time, I was really like I used to get really stressed out painting, and I would literally just go in and wave the gun and just hope that it painted. And until I ended up once I went to a late refinish, then Johnny kind of came in with me and explained, like you need to get right down and look at things, and you need to watch what you're doing rather than just kind of praying that it goes well, because it won't. But I would be a slow painter, as in I watch what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fast painter, but I'm not as slow as I was finding that I was having to do with the Iwata. But just so we can tell everyone who Johnny is, do you want to tell? Because we've mentioned him a couple of times now, and you know him, I know him. Probably nobody else knows who we're talking about.
Johnny Lloyd from 3M.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's confusing as well because there's two Johnnies. My old boss is Johnny as well.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, that was the refurb my bike that commented about the Sulco.
Right. Okay. So there's two Johnnies here. One is our old boss. The other Johnny that we both know is a Johnny Lloyd, who's a really top bloke from World Skills. He won the World Skills Award, and he's the 3M rep, but based in Northern Ireland. And he's touched base with us both, I think. So do you know him really well?
Yeah, I've known him from going to whenever I was doing the competitions in tech. He was judging it.
Was it? He is a wealth of knowledge. He's a really interesting guy to talk to.
100%, yeah.
I've talking about those Iwata, and I think I sent this to you in a message, and I've seen a couple of people have got it. I actually really like the look of that Black Mamba gun.
Yeah, it's a lovely gun. I went over to Auto Mechanica. Was it 2 years ago? Last year? I can't remember. And whenever it was released, and it was amazing. It was so cool looking. The only thing about them is they don't come with the cases anymore, which isn't as nice, but it's still a nice gun at the end of the day.
Yeah, I wonder why it doesn't come with a case, just because it's no longer a limited edition, maybe.
I was speaking to Gavin from my water, and he was saying, because it puts the price up so much, and then it ends up for being a limited edition gun, nobody wants it because it's too dear.
Yeah.
So I think they were trying to, make it more affordable and more accessible to more people, which is, beneficial as well.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, nobody's going to try the gun if it's, I totally, that makes total sense. Absolutely. Yeah. Do you have a specific tool that you like? If you're then out of a spray shop and there's a tool that's sort of a favorite of yours or you like to mess around with?
I'm trying to see if I have it. I bought these I don't think I have it. I bought these tiny blocks off the internet. I think they're KXD. Like head blocks, and I love them for runs. I would get the odd run. I'm not gonna lie about it. And,
no.
I think they're brilliant for it. That was probably my favorite one.
I've not had them. I've seen loads of guys that have them, and they a lot of detailers like to use them as well, don't they?
Yeah, I think that's where they kind of originated from.
Yeah. So do you not use anything like a shark blade or a Merca shark blade or?
I like the Festool one over the Merca one, only because I would be like the Festool one. It's so easy because it has the cord on it and it puts it at the right angle, so you don't really need to work it out. I was probably using the Merca one wrong, to be honest, but like I find it dug into the paint a wee bit too much for me, but I was probably doing it wrong. I just find the Festool one is, it's really user friendly. There's no working out to do. You literally just set it down and push it.
Yeah, you're just reading that. Johnny's just come on board, and he just said he learnt everything from the other Johnny as well, just to make it all quite confusing. Can you share? All right, can you share the link to the blocks? I guess that's the KDX blocks. So. Yeah. Do you want to do that, Rach, after this conversation?
Yeah. I can put it up.
Yeah. So we'll do that. But between us, either myself or Rach will put it up for you. I did have a question down here whilst we're still on the guns. Let's just move back. It was from Benno Gorman. He says, what do you think about the W400?
I have one. I love it. I would tend to use it more for 2K and direct gloss. I would switch between it and my GTI Pro Lite. I just find, well, I have a 1.4 in it, so I'm sure if you put a 1.3, I have 1.3 set up for it, but I haven't tried it. But the 1.4, I think it's brilliant for getting you can do anything from a like really flat finish to like really heavy peel or really fine peel with it. I just find it a really like, it's kind of like a GTI, you know, it's your basic gun, you know, it would be your go-to if you're just getting started out without water, really.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can get a WBX set up for them, which is like the split nozzle, the same as the WS's. So I'm sure that would be even better. We had one with a W300 with the WBX set up in it, and it's a cracking gun.
I know he's been following me for a while, and I don't know if you've seen him before, but or he's commented on yours. He's just sort of set up his own little place there, and he's bought a compressor this year, and he's put some heating in. I mean, he's doing a good job actually, in fairness. So we just got to support.
Yeah, probably a W400 would be bang on then. You know, get a couple of different setups for it. Maybe a 1.2, a 1.3, and a 1.4, and that covers you in all bases then.
There you go, Ben. Hope that helps you.
Yeah.
What do you like? What sort of things do you do in your downtime?
I don't really have downtime.
No?
I eat, sleep, and breathe my job, to be honest with you.
But you have a dog, so that must take up some of your time as well, out walks and things like that.
Yeah, well, she's quite lazy. She just likes to lie about and lie in bed. She wouldn't be the most active of dogs, I have to say.
That's because she knows that you're too busy doing work.
Yeah, well, she used to, if I would work on a weekend, I'd bring her with me.
Yeah.
And she would come in with me, but otherwise, no. I started taking her for walks at nights, but we can't go to. I keep thinking that she's going to be able to walk for miles, but, you know, she hasn't.
It's out the door. No, it's too cold, too wet. Let's go back now.
Yeah, that's her, 100%.
That's quite a sensible dog, that one.
Yeah, she is. She is.
I see Luma 3i have just joined us. Hopefully they're still there. Have you seen any of their kit? Have you got any of their stuff?
I haven't got anything, no, but I've seen the lights, and I think they'd be brilliant for, because I take a torch in with me whenever I'm doing the back of doors.
Yeah.
I think something like that, you know, that you're not having to take a hand off like anything else. You know, you can just see it through the gun. I think it's a really good idea. It's not something I've ever used.
No, I think it looks really good. I mean, I'm spraying with the Segolas, and I really like them, but they haven't actually got them set up for the Segolas, so I'm waiting. Hopefully, this will be the year to have a torch for the Segolas. I've got their air hose hanger, which is brilliant. I really like that. I found that's quite useful in my workshop actually. Keep everything nice and tidy. I hate cables on the floor.
Yeah.
Or pipes, because I'll probably trip over them. So if I can tuck it away and keep it neat, it works out. Although I do have a little confession. I dropped my air hose hanger the other day, and the little collar around the top broke. So I've had to. Yeah, at least I'm in the right trade to fix it. So I fixed it, and if I hadn't said that, you'd never know. So it works really well. So that, I think, well, you know, do you know what? We've gone through those. I've got one last question to ask, but let's see if anyone else has got any questions out here. So once we've got Rach online, let's see if you have any questions for her, please turn them over. What's the plans for the rest of the week then, Rach?
Well, I'm off tomorrow, so I have to go on. My granddad doesn't like driving too far, and I have to take my granny out. But apart from that, nothing. And then the rest of the week, I'm just working. I don't even know what we've got in particular.
No, but then I guess you don't need to do you just turn up there half an hour before with your latte.
As long as I've had my latte, we're fine.
What time do you sort of finish every day?
Around about 5 usually.
Yeah.
The odd time, don't get me wrong, if there's something to do or we're particularly tight pushed, I've no issues staying behind and doing that. But I work primarily 8:30 until 5.
And so I know you said that you can sort of muck in if they're short staffed or they don't know. So can you do everything? Can you do sort of bumper welding,
I'm
stripping,
not,
all of that?
I'm not great at metal work. I don't mind. I can do bits and pieces of stripping and building and stuff, but I wouldn't be a metal worker. I can do, like, don't get me wrong, if there's a dent in something, I can fix it, but I'm not going to be able to do anything exciting, really.
Right. So
Something I
no.
would like to learn, but it's, because I'm so busy painting at the minute, there's no time to sit down, so it ends up, I think I'm just going to get a couple of scrap panels and then, maybe stay late and work out how to use things that way.
It is a real skill. I mean, I don't know if you've seen Jerry Luxury Car. I can never get the last one. Luxury. Anyway, Jerry in the States. He's Irish actually, but he's in Canada now. And some of the work that he does on the bodywork is phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's just the skill. Yeah, check his stuff out. But it's like you said, you've got to have time. I mean, that's what he does all day in, day out.
Yeah.
But if you're painting and that's where your expertise is, then it's hard to put the time in to do something like that as well and be really good at it.
Exactly, because you need to put the hours in at the end of the day. And I, at the minute, with where I am and what I'm doing, it's just not applicable. Like, I did for a while there, whenever I was in Johnny's, I was doing bits and pieces here and there and learning. But now that where I am, I'm painting all the time, so it's just not happening at the minute.
No. And you're brilliant at what you're doing, and it's clearly working. So Izzy has a question for you. What do you think? I mean, I've got my own opinion on this. What do you think about the Instagram community, and what do you want to put into it?
Oh, I wasn't prepared for that one.
No, well.
I don't really know. I think sometimes it can be a wee bit clicky, but I think it's people at the end of the day. No matter what you do, I think on Facebook and any sort of social media, there's obviously going to be trends and clicks, and if you don't really fit into them, you don't really get much further. But I think recently it's become a lot more supportive. There's been a lot more, even in like some Facebook, like in the groups, they're now a lot more trying to support each other rather than just slate each other for everything. Whenever I first started posting stuff up on social media, especially Instagram, everybody's very quick to go, why are you not wearing an airfed mask? Why are you not doing this? Why are you not doing the other? And they don't really think about the situation. Everybody's very quick to point out your flaws instead of supporting what you've done right, or maybe giving constructive criticism rather than just criticism.
Or actually asking to understand how you got to that point and why you're doing it that particular way. So that and normally if you ask that question and understand, there's a really good reason. It's like, okay, yeah, now
exactly.
I don't need to,
exactly,
because I see people do things, and I sometimes I'll wonder, and I think, well, why has he done it like that? And there's people I might know really well anyway, but I wouldn't put that straight onto their page. I'd actually send them the private message and say,
I would be the same.
I see you've done it like this. What was your reasoning behind that? Just so and normally as soon as they tell you, it's like, yeah, of course it is, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas there's some people that are just straight in and comment on something like, why aren't you wearing an airfed mask? Or like, I had a guy earlier today say about why my booth wasn't extracting quick enough, and I was like, it's not mine. I just make do with what I'm given. That's not something I can control.
No.
What do you want me to do? Go and spend 20 grand on a new spray booth?
Yeah, it just doesn't work like that, does it?
Exactly.
I got what did I do? Yeah, once on LinkedIn I got told I was doing a hack job by somebody. So bear in mind, I'm a smart repairer, so my customers don't necessarily want to have a whole bumper taken off. They want to have just the corner blended, whatever. I'm working to what they want, and I'll just repair as and when, as long as it's structurally sound and there's no risk to their lives. So I'll do that. And you've seen how I post the video. So I posted this video, and I had this fellow from America, and nothing against Americans. That's the country it came from. And he said, "Oh, you've done a hack job. You didn't take that bumper off. You didn't do this. You should have painted the whole thing. You burnt out. It's rubbish." So I thought, okay, well, I'm not going to get sucked into this one. But I sort of went into to see what he did, and he was an ironsmith, and I thought,
Yeah,
hold on a minute, I've got 20 years experience painting here, and you're an
exactly.
ironsmith, and you're telling me I'm doing a hack job. So yeah, it is funny. A question goes a long way for sure.
Yeah.
Luma 3i, and I'm guessing this might be Chris that's online. Do you have a project you're most proud of? That's a really good
Uh,
question, actually.
definitely my partner's GT86. That pushed me in so many ways. I took 2 weeks. We were off for 2 weeks, and for ages he kept saying to me, like, "Come and paint the car." He bought a Rocket Bunny kit, wide body kit for it, and he kept saying, "When are we gonna do this? When are we gonna do this?" And I kept saying, like, pushing it away, going, "I don't want to. I'm not getting involved in this." And then we were off for the 2 weeks, and I thought, I'll just do it. And it was kind of a last minute thing, and like, I don't do metal work, and I'm sitting with an angle grinder to the side of his car taking the arches out of it. um, but it came out awesome, and I'm so happy with how it came out. Like,
Is that
it
on
just,
your
yeah,
Is that on your
it's
page?
it's on Facebook and it's on Instagram as well. It was
Okay.
just still go through start to finish by the base coat.
Okay.
uh,
Well, I'll have to have a look at that. Sort of. When was that? When did you do that?
that was July, over the July holidays.
Okay, so it's not. You won't have to search back too far to find it then.
No, no, no.
I'm just reading around here. Lumai, some people are too comfortable sitting behind the keyboards, spewing their little limited knowledge.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, don't let it. That's it. I know it's a funny world. I found it kind of different to you because and maybe that's a male female sex thing because I found Instagram to be a lot more supportive and a much nicer community than I did on sort of the Facebook forums. And
Yeah.
so I always sort of steered clear of that until I sort of came across Sunny on here and joined his
Yeah.
page. Uh,
Yeah, well, I whenever I first started with Instagram, I found I wasn't that fussed on it at the start. I always got on quite well in the Facebook groups. Originally, in Sunny's group, I didn't really get on that well. Whenever, like, this is ages ago, whenever I first started in the trade, but like recently, from what the work he's put into it, it's
oh yeah,
definitely a nicer place to be, 100%.
yeah.
um, compared to what it was, even compared to what it was a year ago.
Even a couple of months ago, which is when I joined,
Yeah,
I could see the difference straight away. Yeah,
yeah, definitely. It's a much more supportive and positive place to be, where everybody's, you know, explaining their thoughts on things. And if you do post something up and somebody doesn't agree with it, instead of just saying you're doing that wrong, they'll maybe comment on it and be like, "I do it this way. Have you ever tried it doing this way?" Instead of just immediately slating you, which I love, because I love finding new ways of doing my job. If somebody can make it easier for me, I'm all ears.
well, yeah, exactly, and that's what I really like about the people that I know on here and just this page. If there is an issue, you can just put it up there, and there's someone has probably come across it and they found an easy way around it to sort it out, and that makes our life easier because we don't know everything. Every day is a
Exactly.
learning day.
Yeah. Yeah, big time.
I mean, okay. So I can do. You can have the same job or and it looks like the same job, but it never goes the same way, does it? Every job
No.
is always different, even though you've got the same process. You're gonna do it the same way, but it's something like yesterday, the bumper I did yesterday. I did all that weld on it. The weld looks fantastic. Well, I thought it looked really good. I put it up, it primed it. I put it up ready to paint. And I put my base coat on it, and I could just see some imperfections, and I don't even know where it was, just where I put down my first base coat. And
Yeah.
so that just threw it out. That probably spent about half an hour, 45 minutes just rectifying that. And
Yeah.
yet it was a straightforward bumper job. The hard bit was the welding, and I've done
Yeah.
that.
I always do that. I make the simple stuff look difficult, and then the really difficult stuff, it's just like, that's no problem, never goes wrong. But the one thing you go, oh, that's a really simple job, I'm gonna get that done in like an hour, and then you're sitting there 4.5 hours later going, why did I even start this?
I know, but that happens the same with when I've got days, and like now, this week I've got all these bike panels to do, so that
Yeah,
there's no deadline to have them done because I've got the week to do them in. But it's almost the worst thing for me because I haven't got a deadline specifically to have, like, it's in today, it's out tomorrow. Things are
yeah,
just taking 3 or 4 times longer than they should have.
because there's nobody standing there telling you that you have to do it.
Yeah, because I know
Yeah,
there's not a customer coming in at 9 o'clock to pick them up in the morning.
yeah.
I know it's terrible. I really sometimes I have to kick my ass. It's like, come on, get it.
I do that as well. I painted a chair for one of my really good friends' son for Christmas, and like I think it was the week before, I was like, right, I need to do this, and I'd had it for like a month. Just left at the last minute, and then I was like, whoa, stressing myself out, going, I need to do this, when I could
But
have just done a wee bit every day.
yeah, exactly. It's all like last minute because I'll have a customer come in. They'll say they'll drop something off, like a motorbike part or just a trim, and they say there's no rush. I said no. Let's put it in the book.
Yeah,
Even if it's not for a couple of months, let's put it in the book. Then I know it has to be done by this date. And if I can fit it before that, but if you tell me, oh, don't worry, there's no rush, I just
yeah.
forget it.
It just goes to the back of the workshop, doesn't it?
Yeah. But,
Yeah,
but I walk past it. I can walk past it 3 or 4 times a day, but it
yeah,
doesn't register
yeah,
that I've got to do the thing
yeah.
until it's too late. Oh dear. Yeah, no, that's
I
crap.
totally relate with that one. I do that all the time.
So what's your favorite paint system? I know you're using Xerox now and you like that, but along your sort of 4 or 5 years, what's the one that if you had a choice to go back to it, what would it be?
I haven't really used that many. I've only used, um, I quite like the Nexa, but it's very, very dear. And you know, where we were, you know, you had the state of the art booths, you had the paint system and stuff. So it was always going to work because you had the quads and all going. You know, I find now, like, whenever you're the water based, it takes a long time for it to dry. Um, I don't really know. I do like the Cyrox. You know, it applies really nicely. That would probably be the main one I've used for most of my time anyway. So
Well, that's a great endorsement, really. So
yeah.
how are you drying in your booth then? Have you got warm air circulating around, or
No, I just turn the heat up in the booth and use a blower.
right? Okay, yeah. Have
Before,
you?
and I've used the Vulcan air heater before. I thought it was a brilliant idea. I think
The
it
one
definitely made a difference.
is that the one actually through the airline?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think it was quite similar to the Sigolo one.
Yeah. I think it's a slightly larger system, but very very popular, and I think perfect for somewhere that doesn't have a heated booth
Yeah,
or is in a cold country. It definitely. I mean, I've got the Sculler in my workshop, and it definitely makes a difference to the way that I my sort of base coat goes on for sure.
yeah,
And the clear coat, but you know, so I run off. So it comes out of my Segola heater into my air-fed mask,
mhm,
and then to the gun. So it's all one system. So I don't
yeah,
have two pipes running around the shop. And then so I'll do my painting, but I don't put my air-fed mask on until I come to do with the clear.
yeah,
And occasionally, so when I'm putting my base coat on, I'm putting it on at about sort of 60 degrees there, but it's not 60 degrees at the gun. It's probably
yeah.
comes out to the gun about sort of 30, 35, 40, somewhere around there. But then, so when I'm sort of like mix up my clear and come back into the shop to put the clear coat on,
You
I
forget to
forget
turn
to,
it down.
yeah.
Yeah, I've done that.
So it's in your helmet. You've now got really warm air coming out.
Yeah,
It's like you're in the tropics. You've
yeah.
done that as well.
I've done that before.
Oh, so
Yeah.
it's not. That's brilliant, but it's not just me.
No. I've definitely. You forget to press the button.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
Forget to bring it back down to sort of. I put it normally about sort of 30 degrees then, and
yeah.
that's fine for when I'm in the booth. I mean, I don't mind the temperature. I've got no issue with that at all.
Oh no, I hate the heat.
So
I hate it. sort of heat.
Really? Oh, so
Yeah.
that was going to be my next question, because I was going to say, are you a summer person or a winter person? So you're a winter person then.
Yeah. I no, I don't do warm climates at all.
But that's funny, because you're in the, well, I suppose you're in the spray booth. It's going to should be fairly warm. You should
I don't mind it around 20 degrees, but I don't like it any warmer than that.
right.
I'm not a heat person at all.
Wow. The sun is my, that's what I live for, is the sun.
No, no, I don't like it.
All right, Rachel. So I'm looking forward to seeing your next projects and your next uploads on here. Thank you so much for joining us today and being my first Tuesday surprise slot.
No
I
problem.
was, it was quite a last minute thing for you, and I really appreciate it. And I've loved to sort of have you as a, well, as part of the person following, and because just the work that you've been put out, and your posts are really interesting. So hopefully more people will go and check those out.
Yeah,
And keep it coming. And maybe if you've got a really good project coming up,
yeah,
or something exciting that you want to share with us all,
yeah,
if you want to just drop me another message, and we can have you back on here for a quick little slot.
yeah. Sounds
You up for
good.
that?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's great. So anyone else, we'll just see if anybody else got any last couple of questions, because we're sort of running out of time now to ask Rachel. That would be great, because she's here and she's got loads of knowledge and smiley and bubbly, which is always good.
Limited.
You've got, do you know, Rach? There's a lot of people like you and respect you going through these chats and reading this, which is fantastic, isn't it? To know
Yeah,
that you have that support.
I always forget, to be honest, and then I get a random message from someone being like, "Oh, I've been keeping up to date with," or you see somebody. I remember going out for dinner one time, and like the waiter turned around and goes, "You paint cars, don't you?" And I was like, "Yeah, you all right?" And he was like, I follow you on Facebook," and I was like, "Okay, thanks." It
I
was one of those
that
ones.
that reminds me of a funny story. Izzy told me once, because Izzy did my first ever sort of, it was like a meet the repairer sort of thing,
Yeah,
and I put it up on YouTube and stuff like that. And I got a message from her sort of a month or 2 months later saying, I was in the supermarket and somebody came up and said, "Oh, I saw you on YouTube," and just like, it's bizarre, isn't it? It's a totally
it's
different
really
world.
random.
Yeah. Right. So that's that. We've chatted to Rachel, and it's Paint by Rachel. If you want to
Yeah,
follow her, please do follow her, and just watch out for the work, and go back and check out that project on the on your boyfriend's car, your partner's
yeah,
car,
yeah,
and also the blocks that you recommended were the KDX.
yeah. I'll put a link up on the comments.
That's it. Great. All right, Rachel. Well, have a lovely evening. I'm going to sign you off now, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's lovely talking to you. Bye bye.
Bye.
So there we go. That was the lovely Paint by Rach. And it's not actually Paint by Rachel, it's Paint by Rach. So if you don't follow her and you'd like to follow, please do. Just, oh, do you know what? We need to call her back quickly. Hold on a minute. Let's see if we can get her. Hold on. Let's send her a request, because I have one question I forgot to ask her. So hopefully she hasn't gone. I'll be gutted if she's gone and we've lost her. Hold on. We're just going to try and get her back now. I have one question for you. You can't go yet. All right, we've got 7 minutes. You can get this question in.
Okay.
Right, this is the most important question. Do you have a tip you can share with us all?
Oh, I'd love to say the obvious and say don't eat yellow snow, but I don't know. Probably try to keep calm. I would have been quite a stress head. I would have really I overthink things quite badly, but I've kind of now got to the point where if something goes wrong, I just walk away from it for 10 minutes, to clear your head. I think sometimes you get drawn into it too much, and then you end up just making it even 10 times worse.
Oh,
Just
absolutely.
because you're stressed out, you need to take a step back and regather your thoughts and just come back to it.
Yep, go have a cup of tea or just sit down, just get out of
Something.
there, and then you just come back in, and that is so true. because when you do get stressed and something's not happening, the more and more you try and rectify it, the more and
worse
more
it
stress.
gets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done that. I said that to TJ last week. Actually, there's jobs that, you know, sort of, I've come to the end of the day. I'm painting it, and I've got to the stage where something's just not right, and I can't seem to get it right. And I said, you know what, I'm going to go home, come in super early, and just rectify it then, because then you just look at it so differently, don't you?
Yeah, definitely.
So that's a top tip.
Yeah.
And I absolutely agree with that tip. That's a fantastic one. Right, now we are going. Thank you very much.
For the
Thanks
second
for
time.
picking that for the second time. Yeah, thanks for picking that up, Rach.
No problem. Thank you.
Speak to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
So there we go. Rach again from Paint by Rach. Thank you very much for picking that up. I really appreciate it. So for the rest of you, if you like these chat shows, we've got another one. I've got another one coming on Thursday, and I'll be speaking to the lads from Hedson IRT. So that will actually be a little bit earlier. That's going to be at 6 o'clock on Thursday. So an hour earlier than this one. But yeah, please join in for that. It should be quite an educating one, and good to learn more about that company. So that's it. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm going to try and save this video because unfortunately I lost the one from last week, but this one I'm going to try my hardest to make sure I don't lose it, and I'll upload it to the channels for you to watch at a later date. Okay, have a great evening. Thank you so much. Bye.